All right, well, I got the engine back in and I'm draining the old oil. Got the, I think it's called the taco plate loose. And I got the gaskets to get in there, and I think there's a strainer that comes out. The drain plugs out. I mean, so far the oil coming out, at least it doesn't have chunks. There still might be some in there. So I'll drop all that stuff down, take a look at it. All right, here's a strainer. I mean, it looks just like little bits of sludge. Let's see if any of it feels metallic. Not really. I think it's just sludge, and there's not very much of it. Let's look up inside there. I think it's promising. All right. I don't know if that, I don't think that, that cover doesn't drop down. And I remember when you put that plate back in, it only goes in like at 7 foot-pounds. It's not much, or else you'll pull that bolt through the casting, I think is how it is. But I might try to get an inspection mirror in there and look around, but not a very big cavity to look into with the plate and everything in the way. Just not sure we can drop that plate without monkeying something else up. Let me research that a little. All right, it's all coming back to me now. So yeah, you got two sets of seals. You got one seal that goes on top of the screen, and then another seal that sandwiches in between the screen and the, I think they call it taco plate. So here's where all your sludge settles in, and I'm not finding any chunks, metallic, anything in there that would tell me, you know, that something was bad, really bad. I've found them before, so I'm just going to call this general sludge. So in addition to the two gaskets for the taco plate and the wire screen, this kit comes with aluminum washer, and then Automobile Atlanta also threw in this washer, a copper. They appear to be the same size. Here's the two plugs. This is the plug that holds the taco plate on, and then this one is the drain plug. It looks like it's still got remnants of a aluminum washer on it. I'm gonna think that the copper washer goes on the taco plate because the torque specs are so low on that. So copper crushes easier than aluminum. So I'm going to run with that. So the nut that holds the oil strainer on does get the copper, because it's what it says right there on the bag that it came out of. And then this aluminum one will go on the drain plug itself. So I've got everything cleaned up pretty good. Took a wire brush to the bottom of that plate, and from what I remember, it's a little bit tricky to get all this stuff back together with your gasket sealer on there. You got to kind of all do it at once before the gasket sealer dries, so wish me luck on that. The oil strainer cap was 9.4 foot-pounds, and the drain plug is 16 foot-pounds. So, I mean, I can see the seals are mashed down pretty good. I wouldn't want to go anymore. At least they'd be smashed all to hell like they were when they came out. So, now let's put some oil in it and see if it leaks. Yeah, I almost forgot the oil filter. The one that was in there was pretty darn crusty. But I did pre-fill this one with about 2/3 of a quart of oil. I think that's something you're supposed to do on these flat fours. Get them ready, prime them basically. Also, I just went to the least expensive filter and oil because in reality, this thing, if it runs, I'm probably going to change the oil again pretty quick. So there's no sense spending a bunch of money on fancy, fancy oils and get that later if it runs well. Alright, oil's all topped off. So to get a battery in here, I don't know if you guys may remember when this car came, it had this janky plastic battery tray. I think I'm actually going to mount that back in here so I can put a battery in the engine compartment safely. Don't want it falling over and shorting out and all that crap. Whoever had put it in basically had it screwed in with a sheet metal or sheetrock screw. I think I'm going to go one step beyond that and use some pop rivets. Quick and easy. Definitely not safe for the road, but for in the garage, it'll be fine. Alright, that worked out pretty good. It's pretty solid. Got the original ground on it. Cleaned up the hot circuits. Put new terminals on here. Cleaned up the clamp. And yeah, trying to get as much voltage as I can. Pull wires hooked back up. Oil pressure sender hooked up. The 3-prong connector to the voltage regulator hooked up. And the starter cable from the key switch is run back to the starter. So it's time to stick a key in it and see what happens. Alright, here we go. So I've got a warning light on the fuel tank. I got an oil pressure light on. And when I turn the key to the start position, I get nothing. So could be the key switch. Could be the wire going from the key switch all the way back to the relay board. So that's where I'm at. I think, what else can I try? I mean, I know if I put a jumper on the starter, it's going to turn over. I'll do that just for grins and giggles. And then once I confirm that, I'll call it a day. Okay, with a jumper on the starter with the bigger battery, it turns over much better. And because I'm right here, right there beside that exhaust header, I can feel the compression. I mean, it's thumping. It's just, I don't think it's getting any fire to the spark plugs at this point. So there's two things to do here. I mean, ultimately, the key switch needs to work the starter. However, if I make a long 2-lead momentary, I can pull the plugs, pull one plug out and see if they're firing at all, and then go from there. But I got to make like a long momentary because I can't visually see that when I'm underneath the car. So I'm feeling even more hopeful at this point, just because I could hear that compression. And, you know, I think it's going to run. Now, not very well, but I think if I can get fire to the plugs and make sure the timing's correct and everything, I think it'll run rough. And then with all that information in hand, I can move forward as far as, okay, what am I going to do to make it run right? That and the myriad other things that need to happen to this car. But, you know, I'll take a little bit of progress anytime I can. All right. Hope you guys had a good weekend. I'll see you soon.